Right, Frank, here we are, BT Sports Studios, and we've just had the press conference for Nathan Gorman versus Daniel Dubois. Saturday night, it's nearly here. There's been so much talk about this one. How's your sort of anticipation levels now?
Well, they're high. I think it's going to be a great fight. I mean, I keep sort of changing my mind. I'm watching it, and at the end of the day, I look at both the guys. They're in magnificent shape. They're in great shape, and mentally both of them are there. They've both got this absolute steadfast belief in their ability and who's going to win the fight. They both really fancy themselves, so you know you're going to get something really special.
What's the best case scenario really for you in this case? Do you just want a great fight, or do you want someone to lose well or win well?
No, I'd want to see a great fight and the loser loses well. I mean, that would be great because I don't want to see the loser disappearing. I think, I don't think it will be the end of the world for the loser, but the winner I think will be in a position in the next 12 months where he'll probably have another 4 or 5 fights and become a mandatory challenger. And once the dust has settled between Tyson, Deontay Wilder, Ruiz, Joshua, they're going to be ready to fight those guys. So that's very important for us and for BT and our investment we've made in this division. And it won't be the end of the world for the loser either. I've mentioned to you before, we did a few years ago, we did George Groves and James DeGale, and both of them went on to win world titles. So it's not the end of the world for the loser.
And are you seeing a change in the personality between the two? Obviously the spotlight on this has been bigger than the spotlight that's been on any of their previous fights. They've had to do a lot more media and had to do a lot more interviews. Are you seeing that they're getting sort of better at the talking side, or are they getting more and more sick of each other?
I think they're getting probably a bit of both of that, but I don't think Daniel really is, he'd much rather be in the gym. You know that, and I think with Nathan, Nathan's the same, but Nathan's a bit more outgoing than Daniel is. I think, whoever comes through this, you will see a change because the confidence level will go through the roof.
And is it a relief to be able to sell a fight based on the quality of the fight and not have to have anyone flipping any tables over near you?
I wouldn't want to give them a gold watch to flip a table over like they did with Chisor or whoever had done, or I don't know, through the table. Look, we know it's great for the. That's what really annoys me sometimes about boxing. Everyone says, "Oh, you promoters, you do all this stuff." I don't do that. I don't need to do that. It is what it is. It's a great fight. At the end of the day, that's where we are. It's the media who wants that and wants to see that. But as I say, with these two fellas, I just think this is all about boxing. These are boxers, young boxers at their best, undefeated boxers, 2 big punchers, 2 actually can box, both of them, got great skills. Don't get no better than that.
A word for the trainers as well, Bowers and Hatton, Ricky Hatton, Martin Bowers, both of them also stepping up to another level as well. Like Ricky Hatton obviously has been there as a fighter, but never at this stage as a trainer, and the same with Martin Bowers.
Well, they're both stepping up, aren't they? They're both quality operators. They both again have got their belief in their abilities and the ability of their fighters. Neither of them showed. No one said we don't want this yet. It's too early. None of them. The fighters, trainers, they all wanted to do it. The only one who didn't want it was me. I was saying let's wait a little bit longer. Let's build it into a bigger fight. Let the public become more aware. And because at the moment, they're still like a trade fight. They've not crossed quite over yet. After this fight, the winner is going to be a massive crossover for him.
And another big heavyweight on the card in your stable, of course, is Joyce. He's got Bryant Jennings, a very, very difficult fight for him. But another very interesting fight and arguably a 50-50 one as well.
Well, he's got a tough fight. He's had 9 fights as a pro. It's his 10th fight, Joe. Got a wealth of amateur experience, Commonwealth, Olympics, Europeans, World Championships. He's done that, silver medal in the Olympics. But this fella he's fighting, Jennings, has had about 27 pro fights. He's a good boxer, a good mover. He was Dillian White the following Saturday week is fighting Reaver, and everybody's saying that's going to be a tough fight for him. Well, this fella was boxing Reaver's head off for 11 and a half rounds till he got clipped. He was in front. So it's a tough fight for Joe, but Joe, out of his own mouth and his connections and his manager, saying all they want to do is foot on the accelerator in the fast lane and move him quickly. Well, they're moving him very, very quickly, and this is a real tough call for him. But, you're going to, for the viewers who are watching this on BT, they're going to see something fantastic. They're going to see 3 of the best young heavyweights in world boxing on Saturday. And and they are 50-50 fights. Whatever way you want to look at it, they're 50-50 fights.
And Joyce as well, it looks like he's going for the knockout. Professionally, in his professional career, we haven't seen anything else from him yet, just knockout power. He obviously has that boxing ability because he won the silver medal, like you said, but he's going for the knockout, isn't he?
Well, that's what he's doing. That's what he's done in his last few fights. And sometimes he throws, all defence aside. He'll take a shot to land it, or not take one. He'll take a couple of shots to land his one. But that's what he's made of. That's what he wants to do, and that's where we are. And as I say, all that means is you're going to get excitement. They're big bangers. The three of them are big, big punchers. The three of them. So bombs away on Saturday.
Speaking of big punches, there's still the looming Anthony Yarde, Sergey Kovalev fight that's been talked about for ages. The date's changed, everything's changed. Where are we at with that one now?
I'm going to announce what's happening on Saturday, live on the air.
All right, so no spoilers now then.
No spoilers, otherwise it'll spoil it.
Okay, and another fighter of yours who's fighting in August, Carl Frampton. He's got his comeback fights. I guess it is a comeback fight after the Warrington fight in Philadelphia on August the 10th.
Yeah.
How do you think Carl's feeling about that?
Well, he's pleased to get back in the ring. He's been out for a while. He's had this legal situation going on with his former manager and promoter. That's been on his mind, but I'm sure he wants to get back in the ring, get himself, re-establish himself, and I'm sure down the road he's looking to get another fight with Josh Warrington.
How long did it take for him to change to the idea of having this warm-up fight? Because originally in December he was saying, I'm only going to fight the big fights, only going to fight the champions. Obviously he had the setback against Josh.
I think he would have gone into a big fight straight away, but because of the legal case, he's been out now for, August, that's nearly 9 months. So he needs that fight. He needs to get the cobwebs out of his system.
And when would you look at for the big fight?
Well, I think that's got to be sometime. He may fight Valdez. I don't know what's happening with that. He may fight Valdez, but at the end of the day, whatever happens, he'll be in a big one, as will Josh, and hopefully they'll get it on again.
And now let's talk about Billy Joe as well, Billy Joe Saunders, because there's been a lot of talk about that Callum Smith offer and what's next with Billy Joe, who's over in Kazakhstan calling out Golovkin in his back garden.
He doesn't give a monkey's bill, does he? He'll fight anyone. He signed to fight him twice, as I've said about 10 million times. He's tried to sign him fight. He's even gone to his own backyard now in Kazakhstan and called him out there in front of his own people. That's Bill. That's what Bill's all about. He wants a big fights. He's desperate for a big fight. Whatever happens, he'll fight in September. So we're working on that. But we also are trying to deliver him something, big. And at the moment, it's all up in the air. There's all this talk of Kovalev against Canelo, Golovkin against Canelo, this one. Once that all settles out, then we know, it all settles down, we know what the options are for him.
And then, of course, Tyson Fury himself, he's doing his speaking tour. We've got Billy Joe calling out Golovkin in Kazakhstan. We've got Tyson Fury in his speaking tour down in Maidstone, giving everyone the dates and the venue for the Wilder fight.
Done permanent. I know. Well, Tyson, he'll fight, as we all know, in the autumn, and then after that, providing that Deontay comes through against these fighting horses, I'm hoping they can get both of them together early in the new year to get that unfinished business out of the way between them.
And you reckon it is another trip to Vegas then?
I would think that would be a big favourite for it to happen, for obvious reasons, from the financial aspect of it all. But wherever it takes place, it'd be a great fight.
And actually, just a quick word on Joe Joyce. Should he come through the Bryant Jennings fight, there's obviously talk with Joe Joyce all the time because he's got his foot on the pedal a little more than the other heavyweights due to being over 30. Yeah. How far away is his world title fight, do you think?
Well, he's in a position with this Manuel Charles situation, isn't he? So he might wind up being a mandatory for that if he comes through the fight. So he's in quite a good position at the moment. But he's got to win.
And do you reckon Bryant Jennings or Joe Joyce go straight into that, whoever wins?
I would. Well, if Bryant Jennings goes into it, he does. And nothing I can do about it. But for Joe, I'd love him to go straight into it. He would want that. I mean, they called out when Miller pulled out against Joshua. They called out Joshua to go in there. So you know what he wants. He just wants to fight for the world title. And he's got this belief that he can win it.
And also on the undercard, just a quick last word for Liam Williams, who also seems to want to call out Golovkin and Canelo and everyone like that. He's had a good year since joining Ingles Gym, hasn't he? And he looks really, really sharp now in training.
He looks a different fighter, actually. He's got a lot of confidence and he's moving well. And I think just a couple more fights, I think he might wind up with a big one.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much, Frank.
Cheers.
Cheers.